Here is a rule that costs nothing to follow, and might one day save your life. If someone knocks on your door once, you can answer. If they knock twice, the second knock arriving exactly, unnaturally identical to the first, same rhythm, same force, like a recording played back, do not open that door. Because something out there has figured out how doors work. It has watched us for a long time, long enough to learn that a single knock means I am a person, waiting politely. What it has not learned, what it cannot learn, no matter how long it watches, is why we only ever do it once. So it does it twice. To be safe. To be thorough. And that is how you know Mara moved into the house on Corvid Lane in October, which everyone told her was a bad month to move anywhere, as a joke, the way people joke about things they don't actually believe. The house was cheap for a reason she assumed was structural, an aging boiler, maybe, or the kind of foundation crack that shows up in an inspection report in small, apologetic font. She didn't ask too many questions. She'd learned not to, the last few years, when questions only ever led to more of them. The first knock came on her third night, around 11 p.m. She wasn't expecting anyone. She looked through the peephole and saw an ordinary man, maybe 40, canvas jacket, the kind of tired, forgettable face she'd walk past in a grocery store without a second look, and before she could decide whether to answer, he knocked again. Same knock. Exactly the same. Not a variation, not a follow-up, not knock-knock the way an impatient person does it. The identical sound, replayed, like someone had recorded the first knock and simply pressed the button again. She didn't open the door. She wasn't sure why, exactly, some old, animal part of her simply refused to move toward the handle. She stood in the hallway with her hand not quite reaching for it, and after almost a full minute of silence, she heard the floorboards on the porch creak once, softly, moving away. In the morning, there was no one on the porch cameras. Just static, for exactly the 11 seconds the knocking had lasted. Before and after, the footage was clean. Mara did what anyone does now, which is not calling the police, but searching the address online at 2 in the morning with the lights on. She found a neighborhood forum, mostly dead, mostly complaints about parking and a raccoon problem from 2019. But buried in a thread from 3 years earlier, a woman who no longer had an active profile had posted something that made Mara's stomach fold in on itself. Does anyone else's door get knocked twice at night? Same knock exactly. We moved out last month. Don't want to say why. Just, if it happens, don't answer, and don't look out the window either, it can tell when you're looking. Nobody had replied. The post had 4 views. Mara did what the post said. For a week, nothing came. She started to relax the way people always do right before the story gets worse. She told herself it had been an odd delivery driver, a confused neighbor, nothing. On the 8th night, the knock came again. Twice, identical, patient. And this time, from the other side of the door, very quietly, like someone speaking around a mouthful of something they were trying not to drop, she heard it say her name. Not shout it. Not threaten with it. It said it gently, the way you'd say the name of someone you'd known your whole life, someone you loved, someone you were disappointed hadn't opened the door yet. She had never told anyone in this town her name. Here is the part of the story that changes depending on who tells it, because Mara herself was never entirely sure which version was true, and neither, really, is anyone else. In the version she told her sister, she said that after the 9th night, the knocking simply stopped, and she moved out within the month, and that was the end of it. An unsettling story with no ending, the kind you tell at parties and shrug off. In the version she never told anyone, except once, very late, to a stranger on a message board she never went back to. She said that on the 9th night, she looked through the peephole one more time before bed, out of habit, expecting nothing. And she saw her own face looking back at her. Not a reflection. Not a trick of the glass. A face wearing her exact expression, tilted at her exact angle, standing exactly where she was standing, on the wrong side of the door, as though whatever was out there had finally finished the part of its research where it watches, and moved on to the part where it copies. She said the worst detail wasn't the face. It was that the thing on the porch, wearing her face, knocked once. Just once. Like it had finally learned the rule. And she said that for one full, terrible second, standing there with her hand already moving toward the handle out of pure animal habit, she genuinely could not remember which side of the door she was supposed to be on. Every version of this kind of story, the imposter at the door, the thing that has learned to wear us, comes back to the same quiet, specific fear underneath the jump-scare shape of it. Not something dangerous is outside. We have 1,000 stories for that, and most of us sleep fine anyway. It's this: something out there is patient enough, and paying close enough attention, to eventually stop looking like a stranger. The first knock is easy to be afraid of. Anyone can knock once. It's the second knock, the one that means I studied you, I noticed the pattern, I am learning how to become the kind of thing you'd let in, that reaches something older and colder than ordinary fear. Because the real question this story leaves you with isn't what was on the porch. It's, how many knocks would it actually take, before you stopped checking which one was really you? If this got under your skin, you already know why. It's not the monster, it's the method. Tell me in the comments, 1 knock or 2, would you have opened the door on night 3? And subscribe if you want more of these. I've got a few things out there still learning your patterns.